Last week I checked out Atari Flashback Collection Volume 1, and now I'm back to talk about Volume 2. And while there was some good games in Volume 1, there was a lot of filler as well. But does Volume 2 stack up? Is it as good as Volume 1? Does it fill you with nostalgia? Or is this just another collection you're gonna want to avoid? Just like with Atari Flashback Collection Volume 1, Volume 2 features 50 games, with 9 of them being arcade games and 41 of them being Atari 2600 titles. Just like with Volume 1, there's a lot of hit or miss titles, and a bunch I feel like are just kind of filler to kind of pad that number and get it up to that number 50 in total games. Whether or not you're going to enjoy the collection is of course going to be based a lot on your nostalgia towards these individual titles or your want to try out games that you may never have played way back in the day. When it comes to each volume though, they both do have some stellar titles amongst them, so it's going to be which ones you like a bit more if you only have the money and time to put towards one of them. When it comes to the arcade games, you got some heavy hitters in Asteroids and Missile Command, along with Asteroids Deluxe. You also have one of my personal favorites of all time in Crystal Castles. I love Bentley Bear and absolutely adore Crystal Castles as a whole. You also have GRAVITAR, Major HAVOC, Red Baron, Sprint, and Super Breakout. Just like with Volume 1, the arcade games as well as the 2600 games play exactly how you would expect. You have all the console commands when it comes to the 2600 side of things, and you do have some options for the arcade stuff. While some games end up controlling a bit better because of the types of controller they use in the arcade, you can use D-pad or joystick on any of the games, and some play better or worse depending upon which one of these you use, as well as there are some options for the arcade titles, changing some scoring stuff and difficulty, as well as you can also adjust some of the sensitivity when it comes to the controls. When it comes to the 2600 games, you have, of course, Atari 2600 versions of all of the arcade games that are included in this collection. But then you also have some other great stellar titles that I really feel like are the big draw here. Of course, every game may be a bit or different depending upon your taste, but for me, games like Adventure, one of the absolute classics for the 2600, along with Haunted House and its sequel, Return to Haunted House. You have Demons to Diamonds, another favorite of mine in Night Driver, Maze, CRAZE, Space War, Skydiver, and Submarine Commander. Now, you do have plenty of sports titles as well. There's 6 sports titles in particular in this set, including the other real sports titles that didn't make it into the other collection. You also have a few board type games and stuff like video chess, video checkers, and Hangman. You have a few more gambling games, including Casino, and you also have some like edutainment titles with the likes of Basic Math, Brain Games, Atari Video Cube, Codebreaker, and a few other things that I feel like really aren't going to be that much of a draw for many gamers, even ones that grew up with the 2600, but they're used kind of in here to bring up the total game count up to that 50. One thing that I thought was missing in Volume 1, but actually wasn't, is online play. You can actually host a game of any of the games included in the collection, though unfortunately no one ended up joining the games, even though I let it host for quite a while, so I can't really comment on like lag or anything like that. There's also, of course, same system multiplayer for any of the games that have it, and pretty much every game just about has a multiplayer component of some sort. Only a few end up not having it and being single player only. From the technical side of things, like with Volume 1, the game is made pretty well. There's no problems as far as glitching or crashing of any sort, and all the games play the way you would hope they would. Atari Flashback Collection Volume 2 is available on the PlayStation 4 for $19.99, and it does feature a full trophy list with a platinum, and similar to Volume 1, there's a lot of trophies that end up focusing more on the arcade stuff, and not as spread out, though it feels to be a little bit more variety to this trophy list than there was with Volume 1. When it comes down to it though, which of these volumes is the better one is purely up to everyone's individual taste with games. I'm starting to give the nudge a little bit to Volume 2, mostly because of the likes of Haunted House, Adventure, and then of course Crystal Castles, which is hard for me to go against Volume 2 just because it does include Crystal Castles. With everything said though, I'm going to be giving this collection, just like I gave Collection Volume 1, a 7 out of 10. I think there's a lot of great fun nostalgia to be had for those who grew up in the era and for those who have always been curious about it. But just be prepared and know there are a lot of titles as far as both collections are concerned, but each one also has some pretty standout ones as well. But anyway guys, that's gonna wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.